Everyone has seen cartoons, either as a child or as an adult. We've all done it. When we were just children, our favorite moment of the day was when we sat in front of the television and watched our favorite cartoons. These characters were our heroes and made us die of laughter every afternoon. But although we believe these characters were only in fiction, there are some that apparently exist in real life. Join us to see these 5 animated characters caught on camera and spotted in real life. Before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Timon and Pumbaa. We all remember this charismatic couple. With these lovely creatures as his sidekicks, Simba from The Lion King was able to return to his kingdom and take back the throne his evil Uncle Scar had stolen from him. Although they're small and seemingly harmless, these two were of great help for the legitimate king to recover his throne. This peculiar couple appeared in the movie The Lion King at Simba's worst moment. His father, Mufasa, had just been killed. His evil uncle convinced him to flee, telling him that his father died because of him. Then, when he was alone and about to die, Timon and Pumbaa made the triumphant entry. These two were responsible for him and raised him under the philosophy of Hakuna Matata, which states you have to live with no worries. They also convinced the little lion to eat worms. Of course, it didn't suit them that his instincts arose because in that case, they would have become Simba's dinner. They were very good substitute parents, and they stole the hearts of those who saw the film thanks to their hilarious behavior and their so peculiar way of seeing life. These characters were so popular, they even managed to get a series where their adventures could be seen. Pumbaa was the most peaceful of the two. He always looked for the positive side of everything, and he had very good ideas which Timon always said that were bad. But he ended up stealing the ideas and saying he was the one who thought of them. Timon was the leader of the couple. He always imposed his way of thinking over the poor Pumbaa, and he always ended up being responsible for getting them into big problems that luckily always turned out good. Now, Timon and Pumbaa are supposed to be a wild boar and a meerkat, two animals that wouldn't be seen together in real life. But that was what everyone thought before this picture appeared. It seems like a lie, but actually these are the Timon and Pumbaa of real life. A boar and a meerkat walking side by side on a road in Africa. Incredible, right? Number 4. The Girl from Frozen. Frozen has been without a doubt one of the most popular Disney movies ever. All the girls wanted to have the wonderful powers of Elsa, and they were touched by the sweet attitude of the little snowman Olaf. This film tells the wonderful story of the little princess Anna, who left desperate to find her older sister Elsa, who was already a queen. But she had already decided to flee the kingdom to be on her own and to live in a spectacular ice palace she built thanks to her incredible powers. But it was exactly these powers that made her flee. She wasn't comfortable being what she was, and she felt bad because sometimes she could hurt people if she didn't get to control her powers well. Despite this, we must accept that having such powers would be great. But Anna, filled with optimism and courage, was determined to bring her sister back to the kingdom where the two had grown up together. Along with a young mountain man, Kristoff, his reindeer Sven, and a curious and funny snowman named Olaf, she began a wonderful adventure to achieve her goal, to make Elsa come back to Arendelle. This incredible story turned out to be a hit at the box office in cinemas all around the world. All the girls wanted to look like the beautiful Elsa or the beautiful Anna. Frozen costumes could be seen everywhere, and every children's party turned out to be a recreation of the kingdom of these two sisters. The not-so-girly girls also wanted to look like Queen Elsa, armed with costumes and makeup. Many girls tried to imitate perfectly the appearance of this cartoon. But there was a girl who did it without even trying. Her name is Anna Faith Carlson. By the time the movie was in full swing, a photo of this girl went viral. She was standing right next to a poster of Queen Elsa, and the resemblance was simply incredible. With no wig or makeup, this girl was identical to the character in the movie. This young woman had already started her career as a model, but after that, fame came to her life. Thanks to the resemblance of the princess, she was able to make innumerable presentations where she imitated the character. Once with the makeup and the right hairstyle, there was no doubt. Elsa had left the screen and had become this girl. Amazing. Number 3. Gru from Despicable Me. This film is another one that has made millions of people laugh with the occurrences of Gru, the minions, and the 3 little girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes. Definitely, it's a story quite different from what people are used to. But where love, adventure, and laughter aren't missed for a second. Gru is a guy who has a rather peculiar dream, to be the most recognized villain on the earth. To achieve this, he has the help of his minions who admire him as if he were a god. They follow him everywhere, take all his crazy orders, however strange they may seem. In addition to these little yellow fellas, Gru has the support of Dr. Nefarious, with whom he plots the biggest misdeeds. But what got into his head to achieve the fame was to steal the moon. In order to get the money for this crazy project, he had to ask for a loan at the Bank of Evil. there he is warned that if he fails again as usual, they're going to support a new villain called Vector, who had already stolen the pyramids of Egypt. Gru seizes a super secret device reducing matter, which is then taken away by Vector, who hides it in his house. Gru tries to avoid Vector's security system without success, until he notices there are 3 orphans who easily enter to sell cookies. So he rushes to get their adoption to use them and be able to steal the desired artifact. What he doesn't imagine is that the little Margot, Edith, and Agnes will change his evil heart. But we're not going to tell you everything that happens in the movie, because you've probably seen it, and if you haven't seen it yet, we don't want to spoil it for you. The important thing here is the Gru from real life. And no, we're not talking about Steve Carell, who's the man playing his voice. Although we do see a bit of similarity in the big noses. The funniest thing about this is that a random person, while traveling in the subway, managed to capture this incredible photo, where a completely real man looks like Gru himself. We don't know if this man is aware that he looks so much like the animated character, but we could almost think that he has a group of minions in his basement, don't you think? Number 2. Johnny Bravo. If you enjoyed the 90s cartoon, surely you remember this funny character. The muscular blonde guy who wore sunglasses all the time and who thought he looked irresistible. The self-centered Johnny Bravo. The main theme of this cartoon was the way in which all the women rejected this character that in his head believed he was simply irresistible. His only fan was little Susie. She was his neighbor, and she was in love with him. But of course, being only a girl, Johnny ignored her completely. Besides being a bit of a fool, this character wasn't too bright. Another very funny character that was in this series was Johnny's mom. Bunny Bravo was a loving mother who spoiled her son a lot in spite of him being the way he was. She was aware he wasn't very smart and that he didn't do very well with women. But she's his mother and she had to love him. But let's be honest, in real life there are many jerks like this fictional character. If you're a woman, surely you've crossed a Johnny Bravo in your way at some point in your life and were aware of how annoying they can be. They want to conquer girls no matter how they do it, but we're not sure who they like best, the girl or themselves. This typical egocentric man can be found anywhere. Great muscles, scandalous hairstyle, and seductive voice are the most common elements of this prototype. Yes, they may remind you a bit of the characters from a famous reality show called Jersey Shore, and if so, we totally agree with you. These guys look like the disciples of Johnny Bravo. But even though these men may look a bit like our dear friend Johnny, there is a man who seems to be the inspiration for this funny cartoon character. Just look at this man's picture. How about that? Every part of him screams, "I am Johnny Bravo, and I came to pursue you." Their hairstyle, the sunglasses, the big muscles, and even the clothes look quite similar to those of Mr. Bravo. It's absurd the great resemblance this man has with the character, don't you think? Number 1. Carl from Up. Well, this countdown got to the top, like the house of the movie Up, and the next character we find in real life comes from this animated film. The resemblance is so incredible that you can't simply believe it, and you'll want to see this image again and again. In case you're one of those few who haven't seen this movie yet, we can give you a brief summary of this beautiful story no one should miss. The main character of the film is quite particular because it's not about any strong and handsome young man. He's a widower of a very advanced age who lives alone in the small house of a neighborhood. His name is Carl Fredrickson, and although he looks rough and bitter on the outside, he really loved his deceased wife with madness. She got sick, died, and left him alone because they never had children. But both had a dream for which they've been trying to save money for their whole lives, visiting the Canema National Park in Venezuela, called Paradise Falls in the movie. Unfortunately, they always had unexpected expenses and ended up using the money they saved, either for repairs to the house or the car. But Carl didn't give up and had something planned to achieve the dream for both of them, even if his wife was no longer present. He tied some balloons to his house that would take him flying to Venezuela. But what wasn't in his plans was that when his house took off, a Boy Scout named Russell would also be on board. Here begins the great adventure, but we don't want to keep telling you things about it, because if you haven't seen it, we don't want to spoil it. The important thing here is to remember well the image of the old man. Do you have it in your head? Well, even if it seems hard to believe because of his exaggerated and rare features, there's a man in real life who looks exactly like this man. Look at the picture of this man. There's no doubt he's Carl's living image. As strange as all this may sound to you, even the rarest characters have someone in real life who's exactly like them. Pretty crazy, right? Alright, Top Fivers. If you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited TheFinestPost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read? If not,